you doing, brother?
Yeah, morning. Doing well. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Pretty good. Show's somewhat back to normal, although don't get used to this because Grant's on the verge of spitting a kid out here.
Yeah,
well, not you.
Gone for a little bit.
But
soon.
the wife.
Soon.
Yeah. So
Exciting. Big day.
And Jimmy will be back from his corn tour soon, at least. So he's traveling around Alberta testing different corns, I believe. So.
Oh, I was hoping he was following the band Corn.
It's funny.
He's at a Juggalo conference.
We have this
gathering of the Juggalos. We all should be there.
We have this ongoing bit with Jimmy where we never really say exactly where he like. It's never true. Whenever we talk about Tabor, it's always his parents own like a corn maze.
Yeah.
He's a corn farmer.
His family used to own a power company called White Power in Tabor.
Whenever he's gone, whenever he goes back to Tabor, we say he's going back for Corn Fest.
Yeah.
Right.
Doesn't matter if it's Christmas time.
No, yeah.
Could be February. He's going for Corn Fest.
And the only people that don't get the joke are people from Tabor.
Yeah.
Or his family.
And they're all concerned. Like I mentioned yesterday, Jimmy's at Cornfest, and I get a text from somebody in Tabor, and they're like, Cornfest isn't until the end of August, because they're worried that people are going to show up at
You
Tabor.
need to make sure you go on the air and correct. I can't understand how you are on the radio and you're allowed to have that kind of misinformation. What's going on with the world we live in?
Get your tickets for Cornfest for this weekend.
The Oilers. We should talk Oilers.
Yeah. You know what I want to start with? Because I actually related to this story.
Okay.
So Darnell Nurse is the Lachlan of the Edmonton Oilers, and I'll explain. I don't know what it is about my personality, but wherever I've been, and it doesn't matter what building, what city, what station, anytime I've worked anywhere, anytime anything went wrong while I was there or after I was gone, everybody blamed me. It's a personality type. And so when I read your story, and I know you guys had him on not long ago, Darnell Nurse, where he feels like he's blamed for everything from goals against to the traffic on Stony Plain. I really related with Darnell Nurse on that. What is this? What I don't understand it. I've never understood it about me.
It's because he's got a $9 million contract.
Yeah, it's the
I
contract.
don't have a $9 million contract. Why does everybody blame me for stuff?
Because you're loud. Blame the loudest one.
Yeah, you got to blame the loud guy.
Blame the loudest one or the one with the biggest contract.
That's the words I live by.
All right.
Do you think he deserves some of that blame, though?
Well, I think it's interesting because no matter what era of Oilers you're looking at, there's always one person that gets it from the fans based solely on the contract. It reminds me of the Darnell Nurse's contract. Yes, it's huge. It's massive. By the way, I thought the line was pretty funny that he gets blamed for everything from goals against the traffic on Stony Plain Road. I thought that was hilarious.
Brilliant.
It reminds me of Shawn Horcoff when he signed $5.5 million all those years ago, and people just could not let it go. He was a good player. He signed a contract that was put in front of him. You would do it too. And listen, is he overpriced by? Yeah. Yep. But what are we going to do about it now?
It's weird that we get mad at players for signing contracts. It's get mad at the GM for signing them. Ken Holland. Don't get mad at the player, because would you expect Darnell Nurse to be like, no, you know what? I'll actually take a few million less, please.
Yeah, that's too much. You know what? I don't need all that.
It's the same too thing. Generous.
Anybody in any job anywhere is going to take more money if it's offered. So, I think we're too harsh on Darnell Nurse. I think that he got better as the season went on last year. He was great. No. Was he trying to probably live up to that contract a little too much? Yeah, probably. I expect him to be better this year. And the thing that I also found funny is when we posted those quotes from Darnell, how mad people got that he was just pointing out that people get mad at him. So it's just
you can't win.
In a weird circle. You just can't win. So it is what it is. I'm a Darnell Nurse fan. I think he's going to be solid for us again next year. So I really like when players give a little bit of personality and they give a little sass. I liked it.
I thought he played the role that he was supposed to play this year. Right, and that helped with some of the moves they made with the defensive core, obviously.
Yeah.
Right, but I feel like as this team gels, and it looks like they're trying to hang on to the unit that they had last year, right, and just sort of make it better and hopefully, go a little bit further into the playoffs next year with the guys they have. I think that will actually improve Darnell's chances and his performance as a whole.
I do too.
I'm not just saying that. I actually believe that. I was impressed with Darnell Nurse last year. He was playing towards the end there. He would, I don't know. Was he playing a $9 million contract? I thought he was.
Yeah, there was a lot of pretty bad turnovers, like in the playoffs and stuff. But
Grant
those
was
stand out.
always pointing out Nurse's turnovers.
You couldn't trust him with the puck.
I think that he got in his own head a little bit.
Yeah,
too much. It was a tough year. So I think having a full year of Matthias Ekholm with him as well is going to settle things down. I think a big problem with Darnell last year is everybody knows what he makes.
Yeah.
And it's one of the weird things about being a pro athlete, I guess, that he was probably trying to live up to it. At least that's just my conjecture. I have no idea. But I think having Matthias Ekholm around for a full season is going to help him calm down a little bit because he doesn't have to do everything now.
Yeah.
He's got a guy right behind him or right beside him, wherever they line him up, that Matthias Ekholm can go handle some of the business as well. Darnell Nurse doesn't have to do everything. I think that's going to help a lot.
Are the Oilers going to sign Ryan McLeod before his August 4th arbitration date, or are they going to have to go do that with him?
That is an interesting question. I have no idea what the answer to it is. Daily Faceoff's Frank Saravalli the other day on his podcast was talking about the Oilers and McLeod are just not close yet. And like you said, Grant, we're like less than 2 weeks away from that arbitration date. So I could legitimately see it going. From an Oilers perspective, you don't want it to go to arbitration because if they could award him, who knows what they could award him, right?
Yeah.
Generally, the rule is somewhere around $100,000 per point. That's probably a little bit more than what the Oilers would want to spend on Ryan McLeod at this point, given that they also have to sign Evan Bouchard. So I actually think it could go to arbitration. I hope it doesn't because from all the stories we hear and we read, going through that process isn't necessarily a great thing for the player or the organization. So, I'm hoping it does, but we'll see what happens.
Does that get buried by the Matthews conversation? I think it does. I think a bunch of these sort of little deals with Edmonton are not going to make headlines just based on what's happening in Toronto right now.
Well, I mean, no matter what happens, like the Leafs could open a door and they'll get all the coverage.
Yeah.
So, like it really doesn't matter. So whatever. Yeah, but to be fair, even if Austin Matthews wasn't in Toronto, he would probably get more attention just based on the caliber of the player. But yeah, I'm not overly surprised.
I hope something goes sideways. Why do I want that
we
so
all
bad?
Want that.
All right. Would be fun.
There he is, Baggedmilk. Thank you for your time today. Baggedmilk, Oilers Nation.
Thanks, guys.